Welcome back to another live stream, guys. Today we're going to be diving into church merch. So I've been getting a lot of questions about churches and what they can do to create additional funds for their churches and how they can use Spreadshop to do that. So we're going to go in today and kind of talk through some places where you can go to learn more about that and kind of show you how you can set up your very own Spreadshop for your church and why it's beneficial for you to do it for your nonprofit, your church, whatever you may have, so that you can make some of the additional profits and really benefit your church and your congregation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, just because I'm getting lots of questions about people that own churches, how they can open up their very own Spreadshop. So let's jump in and start showing you guys some places you can go to actually learn a little bit more about that. And I'll talk in detail about it today as well, but just for reference as well, if you want to take some time after this to dive in further, you can go ahead and go to this website here. So I have this first one up here. This is churches.spreadshop.com. This is a landing page we created specifically for anyone that happens to who want to sign up that currently has a church or looking to start fundraising for their church. And this entire page is just built giving you tips and tricks about what you need to do to open up your very own Spreadshop for your church. We go into a decent amount of detail, and even at the bottom we actually have some examples of other churches we have that currently have Spreadshops with us. So one of the best advantages of a Spreadshop for your church is that you're making additional income for your church outside the normal ways you normally have to do that, which is fundraising and things like that. And now you can have a way to actually provide merch for your congregation, so they're getting a product that they love and can support your church with. And we're offering the ability for you to make some profits off that, so you can give that back to your community for fundraising, church building, community events, whatever you may have going on in the church that you need that additional income for. So it's a great way to complement your church and provide some additional income for your church. So that's the first website there. And then we also have some additional breakdown on our blog at spreadshop.com. /blog. And if you just type in church, the very first thing will pop up will be church merch, how to wear your faith. And this is a blog where we also go into some additional detail about what you need to do to actually open up your very own Spreadshop for your church. So before we go any further into that, I will go ahead and jump over and kind of show you what you would need to do if you're going to open up your very own Spreadshop. The only two things you need if you're a church to start launching your own Spreadshop is a email and a create a password. So when you go to spreadshop.com, you're just going to go up here and go to open a Spreadshop. It's going to allow you to log in. So I'm already logged into my other account. And so you just need to enter those two bits of information, name your account, and after that you're launched. So all you would need after that is designs. And then after that, you can launch your Spreadshop. So we'll walk through all of that today just to kind of give you a quick walkthrough. So I'm going to make some quick designs, upload them to my Spreadshop, and just pretend like I'm actually setting up my church merch for the first time for my congregation here live. So let's go ahead and jump over to my other window here real quick. So I just have Adobe Illustrator open here. And so I'm going to make some really quick designs. So this is something I would want to offer to my congregation. I'll give you guys some tips and tricks with designs too that might actually help you out if you're actually creating designs for the first time. There's a lot of different ways to create designs. You can either have a graphic designer commission them for you. You can use services like Canva to create designs for free, or you can create them yourself. So I'm going to make one really quickly today and just show you how quickly you can make a t-shirt and lay out some designs that'll be pretty good sellers in your shop and will provide the additional income you're looking for from your Spreadshop. So I'm going to start with just a cross. So usually what I'll do is just make two rectangles here. Let me zoom in on that for you. I'm going to copy that to the front. By the way, as I'm going through this, guys, if you guys have any questions about church merch, about designs, about opening up a Spreadshop, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to help you out. I'm just here to try to help you guys out and alleviate any questions you may have. So First thing I'm going to do is do this, like I said, and copy this and paste that in the front. And we're going to rotate it. And generally, a good way to determine a layout for a cross and just to give you the sizing is to use a square. So I'm going to go up to the top portion of my rectangle here. And I'm going to create a rectangle. And depending on where we want this to lie, basically, is where we want the size and placement of this crossbar to be. So I'm going to take that rectangle to the bottom of this, and I'm going to pull it into the edge of that square. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull this into the edge of the square. And I'll quickly just show you. Usually gives you a pretty good angle. And usually for height, what I recommend is pulling one of these down as well. So that's going to be one whole block again. And usually about a half after that. So if you want to pull one to the side here and just create a half block. So we were pretty close, so I'm just going to drag this up to meet that bottom of that block. And so we're just using those blocks as guides so we can get rid of them. And we have a pretty good looking cross there. And so I'm going to start with that for this design, and I'm going to go ahead and merge that. So that's going to be under, for those who aren't familiar, this is Illustrator that I'm in right now. There's Pathfinder tools you can use to merge objects together, which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and unite those objects. And so I have my cross laid out there. So I already got the beginning of my design ready to go. I'm liking the way that looks, but I think I want to add like a little bit more flair to it. So a lot of times when I make edits, I'm going to copy that just so I have a copy of my original. And then I'm going to go over here and make this 3D, I think. So we're going to go up to Effect, 3D Materials, Extrude and Bevel. And it's going to give me like a general layout here. So I really just want kind of like a forward-facing cross, I think. And probably thinking having it face upwards, and then we'll give it like a fun skewed perspective a little bit. I think right about there looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of that. So I got the basic look that I want. You can adjust the colors here if you'd like, but we're going to stick with that just for the speed of this tutorial. And now I have the base layout of my design, and I'm just going to add a little bit more flair to that. So I'm going to go over to my pen tool real quick, and I'm going to make a point straight up. I'm going to add a stroke to that, and add a little bit of thickness to that. And then I'm going to round that stroke real quick. Again, guys, while I'm going through this, if you have any questions about designs, about opening up your very own church merch, or opening up your own Spreadshop for your church, feel free to ask any questions while I'm creating anything live here. So I think I want one more piece in there, and you'll see how this will come together here in just a moment, and I'll explain what I'm doing. I'm just going to space those. Okay, looks pretty good. So I'm going to group those real quick, and I'm going to center that on my object. And what's really cool about Illustrator, it allows you to do some really pretty cool things. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to make it about what size I think I'd want it. Looks pretty good there. Then I'm going to go up to Object. We're going to go to Repeat Radial. And then we're going to adjust that to fit where we think we want it to go. And then we can adjust the amount within that object by sliding this up and down. So we get like that kind of rays coming off the cross that way, which looks really cool. I think that looks pretty good right about there. So I'm just going to end it there. And then we'll add some text as well. Maybe we'll start with some basic text things like this, and we'll match it to color. And if we want it to be more rounded, we can have it fit so it fits in like kind of a circle look. But I kind of like the way that looks right there, and it kind of seems like it complements the top there. So I'm pretty happy with that. We can even bevel that too, just like we did the top, to kind of give it that 3D look. And then I might just lighten up this top color to be something a little bit more like gold, just to kind of complement that color a little bit more. It's really slight. I think I liked it better with the original color. So we're going to switch back. So we have a really basic design ready to go. So we're going to export that. So before we do that, let's go ahead and prep that file for export. So the first thing we want to do is, like before, we're going to copy it. So in case we want to go back and make any changes, I'm going to go to Object Expand Appearance. Do it one more time. Object Expand. Hit OK. And then we're going to resize that to a recommended size for print for Spreadshop, which is going to be, you want to switch this to, you can do inches or pixels, so it's around 15 inches. And you want to save that at 200 or 300 dpi. So we want to make sure we put our canvas fit to that. In Illustrator, that's going to be under Object, Artboards, Fit to Selected Art. Excuse me. And we're going to go up to File, Export, Export As. And we're going to save that as a PNG graphic. Make sure to use the selection here where it says use artboards, because you need to make sure you save only the part that you have in that selected area there. Hit export. I'm just going to save it at 200 for now, like I said, but you can do 300 as well. Okay, so we have our design that should be saved out here shortly, so let's go ahead and grab that real quick. So here's our design. Looks good. So to upload that to our Spreadshop that we opened, like I said, all we needed was an email and password for that. We're going to navigate back there now, so let me switch back to that screen real quick. So we got our Spreadshop here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the graphic that I just created, and we can just go ahead and drag it, drop it onto that page. And again, guys, as I'm creating here, feel free to ask any questions about any church merch, any questions you have about opening up your very own Spreadshop for your church. and maybe possible ways that could benefit you, but I'll kind of reiterate some of that stuff as I go. So we have our design there. Looks pretty good. So I want to create products with that design, but before that I'm going to create a Spreadshop around it. So we're going to go down here and let's go ahead and go to open a shop. What's called this church sample. It'll give you some options for themes that you can choose that might help you along the way with some styling you may want to go with for your Spreadshop. For this one, I'm just going to go with the classic theme because we're going to lay it out ourselves. And we're going to go stick with that kind of golden color that we had in our design. Just let me grab that real quick. So all you need for that is a hex code. So we can go ahead and add this color right here. Paste in our hex code. And we're done there. We can hit save. And so at the beginning of our shop opened up. Now you have the option to go back and create your products from the design you uploaded. And you can select the shop to place that in. So you can open up to 10 shops under one account. So you can have multiple churches or different fundraisers you might have all under one account. So that's not a problem for you to open up multiple shops under one account. So let's go down. I want to put that in my church sample shop I just made. Hit next. It will automatically lay that design out on several products. And it'll try to place them accordingly to each product. You can pick and choose colors that you want to have that product on. You can go into more detail. You can remove products from the product listings that you may not want. You can even go in and say, I want to have different options for like hoodie colors. I can go in here and go into design. I can resize my design down a little bit. I can move it around within the print area. Go with the product color. I can choose the product colors I want to feature in my Spreadshop. And so maybe we'll put this one on like a, put it on like something else darker. So do like a navy. And also we can deactivate any colors we don't want to offer in our Spreadshop as well to avoid problems that you might have. For example, if you have a black design and you don't want anyone to have the option to choose to place that on a dark product as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit done there. You'll see that change in my Spreadshop. So I have a pretty good set of products that I'm offering here. You also have the option to add a lot more. We have hundreds of products. If you go up to all products, you can add all those and activate those in your Spreadshop as well. I do suggest curating the products you offer in your Spreadshop so don't offer them all, or have seasonal products that you offer for only certain parts of the seasons. So you can do that by going up here to product templates, and you can set up templates that you can apply to your product ranges, and you can have those saved out for seasons, fundraisers, any type of special events you might have going on, and you don't have to remake those every time. So for this example for now, like I said, I'm going to hit next, and then you have to just simply name your design. Let's call that cross. And then you want to name the description, and you want to go into a little more detail of what I'm going through with today, but I'm trying to, for the sake of time, just speed through this a little bit faster. And then you want at least 3 tags. Go ahead and hit create. And again, guys, if you have any questions while I'm going through here, feel free to ask. Okay, so we have that added to our Spreadshop now. So if we go back down to our Spreadshop here, you can see all the products we created with our design are in there now. And now I'm just going to make a header real quick so I can really make the look of my shop unique. So I'm going to jump back to my designer. So I'm going to use Photoshop for this instance. Just give me 1 second. And the size of that top image is 1400 by 400. You can make it a little bit smaller if you'd like. So let me jump back And so here's our 14 by 400 image. So this is that top header image that we would have in our actual shop. And so we're going to start by adding, I think, the design that we made to it. And then we can add some more fun things to that as well. So we can add like a background image or something like that. Let's grab some imagery here real quick so we can add that. Let's add like maybe just a texture or something. Try this. And we're going to blow that up. Add it behind my design. And we'll add a bit of white on top of that. And just have that bleed through ever so slightly. Actually might look better on black, so let's try that. Good. And then if we wanted to, we could add a little bit more depth to this by adding some highlights to it as well. So I'm going to go up to my logo here and add a little bit of a drop shadow to that real quick. Fade that so it looks like it just pops a little bit more off the page. So that's it without. You can just see how that adds a little bit more depth to our imagery. Okay, looks good. And you can go into a lot more detail if you'd like. But we just got our header image here, and you can put the name of your church in here as well. But just like I said, for the sake of time, this is our header image, so we're going to save that out. That's 1400 by 400. And in your shop, that's known as the teaser. So I got that saved out. And then we'll create a logo too, which is what's going to appear in the top left-hand corner here as well. That's much smaller image, so we create a new document for that. And we want to have our shop logo, which is 380 by 68. And let's say we're just going to add that same imagery that we did before, like I said, just for the sake of time here, to that. Maybe we'll just have it highlight just the top portion there, so we can drag that down. There we go. So I'm going to save that out as my logo. So we basically have all our imagery ready to go. So I'm going to go back to my Spreadshop now. And we're going to navigate to page settings, start page, and we're going to go to our teaser image here, and we're going to upload that bigger file that we made right here. So we can just drag and drop that right here. And that will appear here in just a moment. You can see it appeared right there on the right hand side. And we have an option to add some text and also a call to action button, but I'm going to remove both of those so that the header image is the primary focus. Hit save. And we want to add our logo as well, which is going to be back under appearance, logo. Change this from shop name to logo. And again, we can just drag that logo we made over earlier, and you'll see where that'll appear here in just a moment as well. There we go, on the top left-hand corner. I'm gonna hit save. And just for reference, under page settings here in start page, this is where you can really customize the look and feel of your shop. That's going to be this page here on the right-hand side. So I can move items around, deactivate other items I might not want to see. So I'm going to add design and products to the very top here. So that's one of the first things that it features is the actual designs of my Spreadshop. You can see how that appeared here right at the top. And the next thing is a product preview. And then I'm going to deactivate some of the other elements in the shop just to clean up the look of the shop. And you can simply select those and then toggle them on and off. And you can see how quickly you just make little changes like that really give you a different look to your shop. So we're pretty much done, guys. And that's all it took to open up our own merch for our church, our theoretical church here. And then from there to launch it, all you have to do is select this top left-hand corner launch, or you can go back to your page settings here, go to general, and then go to activate shop and turn it to online. And then so we're going to do that right now just to show you guys. And one of the things to take advantage of when you first launch your shop is that it's going to give you a 15% off coupon for 2 weeks that you can use to market your shop. So it's a great way to get those initial influx of sales. So make sure to talk about it to your congregation, to your fundraisers, whoever you happen to be talking to when you launch your shop. And there you go, there's the 15% off. And now our shop is live. So to visit it, we're just going to go to the URL here. We can actually copy that right here in the bottom left-hand corner. I'll create a new tab here and show you that real quick. Great. So we have our whole shop laid out here ready to go. So people can go in here and select these products, select their sizes and colors, and order them right from your very own Spreadshop. So it's that easy to set up your shop. You see I did all that live in probably just under 20 or around 20 minutes. That's all it takes for you to set up your very own shop. If you already have designs, it'll be a matter of literally minutes. You can set up your Spreadshop. It's completely free to set up, and we're trying to do as much as we can to try to help you guys out. So as always, if you have any questions, this video will be live in our live tab on our YouTube. If you have any additional questions after this live stream is over, feel free to add them to that video, and I'll do my best to jump in there and try to answer you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much all it takes to set up a very own Spreadshop. It's really easy, it's really quick, and that's the whole idea, is to make it as simple for you guys as humanly possible, because we want you to get in there and start selling as quickly as possible. And again, if you guys have any additional questions or you want to kind of dive in and do a little more research yourself, check out churches.spreadshop.com, which is a whole landing page. Like I said, we have dedicated to that specific niche, which we have several landing pages which are dedicated to specific niches. And we also have a blog. If you go to our spreadshop.com website here, you can go over here to blog, go up here to search here and just type in church. And the very first inquiry you will get here will be this blog, which goes into a lot of detail as well about opening up your very own Spreadshop for your church. So these are two great resources that allow you to kind of do a little more research and also give you some great tips and tricks for when you first launch your very own shop. But if you guys have any other questions, like I said, make sure just to ask them in the video. But I just wanted to show you how quickly and easily you can set that up for your church. And I'll talk to you guys here again soon. Hopefully I answered some of your questions, got a little more detail about what you need to do to open up your own Spreadshop for your church. So thanks again for joining me today, guys. But that's about it for the stream, and we'll talk to you here soon. Thanks for joining us.